Welcome back to Miles Reads. I'm Miles. Today, we're exploring the book Smartcuts with the subtitle, How Hackers, Innovators, and Icons Accelerate Success. We are living in a world of accelerating change. How can we be so sure? A few numbers paint a vivid picture. In the 19th century, it took American oil tycoon John D. Rockefeller a full 46 years to go from zero to $1 billion fortune. By the 1980s, computer giant Michael Dell did it in just 14 years. Bill Gates was even faster, taking only 12. In the 90s, Jerry Yang and his partners at Yahoo earned their first billion in a mere 4 years. The founder of eBay shortened that record to 3. After the year 2000, the founder of Groupon rewrote the record books again, doing it in 2 years. You might argue that inflation plays a role here, but it's undeniable that advancements in technology and communication are dramatically shortening the time it takes to create wealth. In the internet age, a young person with a great idea and the technical skills to execute it can potentially create a fortune that easily surpasses those of previous generations. So, in this ever-changing world, how can we accelerate our own success? This book, Smartcuts, aims to reveal these fast tracks to success and the methods you can use to achieve your goals. First, let's consider a classic mental puzzle. You're driving in a torrential downpour when you see 3 people stranded on the side of the road. An elderly woman who looks frail and on the verge of collapse, a friend who once saved your life, and the person of your dreams. A perfect opportunity to make a great impression. The problem is you only have one empty seat in your car. Who do you pick up? Each choice seems justifiable. The old woman desperately needs help. You owe your friend a life-altering favor. And this chance encounter with your dream partner could be the key to your lifelong happiness. So think again. What's the best possible solution? The author provides this answer. You give your car keys to your friend and ask him to drive the old woman to the hospital. Then you stay behind and wait for the bus with the person of your dreams. See how perfect that is? You helped the person in greatest need, repaid your friend's kindness, and created an opportunity for some quality time with your crush. Dilemmas like this are a fantastic exercise for our minds. Finding the best solution requires us to think outside the box and change our perspective. The most successful people in history were masters of this kind of lateral thinking, which allowed them to seize fleeting opportunities and achieve brilliance in their fields. The book's author, American journalist Shane Snow, calls this thinking pattern Smartcuts. He has written influential feature articles on the topic for magazines like Fast Company and Wired. Eventually, he joined a small group of tech elites he had reported on, a group who called themselves the super successful under 30s. They had given up promising PhDs and high-paying jobs to subsist on ramen noodles while pursuing ideas they believed could change the world. Immersed in the passion and creativity of these young people, Snow was inspired to become an entrepreneur himself. The content marketing platform he co-founded led to him being named one of Forbes' 30 Under 30 Innovators. In this book, he uses a wealth of case studies to explore the pathways to accelerated success in our fast-paced world, summarizing them into 9 core patterns. Smartcut number 1. Switching ladders. Shane Snow noticed a fascinating trend. The average inauguration age for a U.S. president 55 is often younger than the average age of a member of Congress 62. Logically, serving in Congress should be a stepping stone to the presidency. So why are the people who reach the top often younger? While Donald Trump broke Ronald Reagan's record 69 by taking office at 70, the youngest president in history, Theodore Roosevelt, was just 42, followed by John F. Kennedy at 43. Of the more than 40 past presidents, only 3 climbed the ladder by winning elections for every single federal office along the way. More than half of all presidents never even served in Congress. The pattern is clear. Many people succeed by switching ladders. Those who follow the conventional path, climbing step by step through the federal system, actually have a harder time reaching the presidency. In contrast, ladder switchers who achieve excellence in other fields and then cross over into politics have a much higher success rate. Consider the professions of the fastest rising U.S. presidents. Abraham Lincoln was a party founder, George Washington a general, Theodore Roosevelt a police commissioner, Harry Truman a judge, John F. Kennedy a soldier and author, Thomas Jefferson a lawyer, Dwight D. Eisenhower, another general, Woodrow Wilson, a university president, and Ronald Reagan, an actor. They demonstrated extraordinary leadership in their respective careers, which gave them incredible credibility when they ran for president. It's as if they were constantly switching ladders to find a faster route to the top. Switching ladders is like a game called Bigger or Better, which originated at Brigham Young University. Students form teams and start with a small object like a toothpick. They go door to door, asking to trade it for something bigger or better. Naturally, trying to trade a toothpick late at night leads to many rejections. But eventually, a kind neighbor might offer a piece of gum, and the game begins. After enough doors are slammed in their faces, they always find someone willing to trade. The gum becomes a pen, the pen becomes a pack of sticky notes, which then becomes a magazine, flowers, a hat, a t-shirt. By the end of the game, the teams show off their results, and they are astonishing. Some traded up to a stereo system, others to a set of golf clubs. One team even dragged back a canoe. Imagine if they had started by trying to trade a toothpick for a television. They would have just gotten yelled at. The author concludes that very few people are willing to help you make a giant leap, but taking one small step at a time is achievable. Researchers call this the psychology of small wins. Each minor victory boosts morale, motivating people to strive for the next win, ultimately accumulating into a major triumph. In business, switching ladders or pivoting can accelerate a company's growth. One report found that startups that pivot once or twice raise 2.5 times more funding and have a 3.6 times higher user growth rate. Companies that know when to switch business models or products, especially during a market upswing, typically outperform those that stick to a single path. Therefore, in this era, instead of climbing one ladder step by step, it's better to think like a ladder switcher and act like an entrepreneur, accelerating your growth by constantly changing lanes. Smartcut number 2, find a great mentor. As the saying goes, a good teacher can open the door, but you must enter by yourself. A great mentor is crucial. Socrates mentored Plato, Plato guided Aristotle, and Aristotle taught the future conqueror, Alexander the Great. Chess prodigy Joshua Waitzkin met Grandmaster Bruce Pandolfini while playing in New York's Washington Square Park. Under the master's guidance, he won a series of championships and set world records at a young age. Of course, you have to be worthy of a master's attention in the first place. Even the visionary and decisive founder of Apple, Steve Jobs, was mentored by former football coach and Intuit CEO Bill Campbell to learn how to maintain mental clarity and sharpness. You can certainly spend a great deal of time figuring things out on your own until you master a skill. But wouldn't it be better if you could persuade a world-class practitioner to guide you? The time it takes to master the material would be drastically reduced. Furthermore, the most inspiring part of learning from a master is that their wealth of experience helps you skip levels and see much further ahead. Data shows that entrepreneurs with mentors raise 7 times more capital and their companies grow 3.5 times faster than those without. Of course, this mentor-mentee relationship can't be a forced pairing. You need an internal drive to learn, and the mentor must be genuinely willing to teach. Only then can you build a positive relationship that will propel you forward. Smartcut number 3, leverage platforms. The platform you choose determines your potential for growth. The renowned American physicist Freeman Dyson once said that many schools teach children as if they're driving a car through a bumpy field instead of letting them speed down a highway. He even argued that children don't need to memorize multiplication tables and should be taught to use a calculator before age 6. In his view, rote memorization is the enemy. Teaching children to use tools and develop their thinking skills is what matters most. While this view was once considered radical, schools in Finland are already putting it into practice. They have streamlined their curriculum, de-emphasizing abstract theory and instead letting students experience knowledge through hands-on projects. The focus is on cultivating critical thinking, and students are allowed unlimited use of calculators. Consider another example. A female programmer named Samantha John noticed that university computer science departments were dominated by men, largely because many boys got into programming through their love of video games as teenagers. To help girls learn to code in an approachable way, she developed a tablet game called Daisy the Dinosaur. The game is similar to Angry Birds, with increasing difficulty, and cleverly integrates programming logic. Using the touchscreen interface, girls master the fundamentals of coding while playing, which is far more effective than learning through lectures, exercises, and mandatory classes. The platform we're talking about can be a tool, a technology, a high-speed network, a great company, or even a supportive environment. Why do actors flock to Los Angeles? Because the platform is there. Why do fashion bloggers move to New York? Because the platform is there. Why do Harvard Law School graduates find jobs more easily? Because they have the powerful platform of Harvard. When you gain access to Harvard's leverage, you have a greater power to move the world. That's the magic of a platform. Smartcut number 4. Catch the wave. When someone tells you you're lucky, they usually mean you seized an opportunity. So-called luck is simply being in the right place at the right time. But opportunities must be actively sought and captured. Shane Snow concludes that there are 2 ways to catch a wave. One is to paddle furiously until you're exhausted. The other is to recognize the wave's characteristics, get into position ahead of time, and effortlessly float to the perfect spot. It's like surfing. It requires experience to read the waves. If you don't know how to read the waves yet, Snow offers a method. Keep a close eye on the industry leader and adopt a fast follower strategy. Historically, many successful companies were followers in their fields. General Motors surpassed industry pioneer Ford in the early 20th century. Google and Facebook overtook forerunners Overture and Friendster, respectively. A study from the University of Southern California that analyzed 500 brands across 50 product categories found that only about half of first-mover companies could maintain their market leadership after 5 years, and only 10% could hold it for the long term. In contrast, followers that entered the market and eventually became dominant had a failure rate of only 8%. This is because first movers have to blaze a trail, while later entrants can follow the path that's been laid. Fast followers can hitch a ride and benefit from the groundwork. This is why so many innovative companies are able to seize opportunities, overtake incumbents, and catch established giants off guard. Remember, when you can't yet spot the crest of the wave, aim for the industry leader and wait for your moment to surpass them. This is your Smartcut. Smartcut number 5. Find Superconnectors. Imagine you're at a party where you don't know a soul. Suddenly, a friend of yours arrives who knows everyone there. He graciously takes you around and introduces you to a dozen key people. Effortlessly, you've made a host of important new contacts. Your friend is a superconnector. In real life, what's easier, meeting 1,000 people one by one, or befriending one person who already has 1,000 friends? What's faster? Spreading a message door to door, or using a radio broadcast to inform thousands of households instantly? This is what Shane Snow calls the superconnector mindset. Go directly to a central hub with broad reach and use it to achieve massive scale. The experience of American director J.J. Abrams is a classic example. He loved movies and had written 9 screenplays, but all were rejected, leaving him disheartened. He then reached out to a writer friend, Jill Mazursky, whose father was a well-connected film director. Abrams proposed they write a script together, and Jill could then use her father's network to get it in front of industry heavyweights. The plan worked. Their screenplay became the film taking care of business. After that, Abrams went on to direct hit TV shows and films like Alias, Lost, Mission, Impossible 3, and Star Trek, eventually earning the chance to collaborate with Steven Spielberg and becoming one of Hollywood's most sought-after directors. So, actively build relationships with well-connected people and find ways to make them your superconnectors. Interestingly, after becoming successful, Abrams himself was happy to become a superconnector for young talent, using his reputation to help gifted but unknown creators climb the ladder quickly. Another example comes from author Jack Canfield. To promote his new book, Chicken Soup for the Pet Lover Soul, he partnered with a national pet supply retailer. They gave a half-price coupon for the book to every customer who bought a large bag of dog food. That small coupon traveled across the country with every bag sold. Those pet owners alone bought 500,000 books, making it the fastest book launch of Canfield's career. The retailer was his superconnector. The superconnector strategy is an evolution of traditional networking. You need to provide value to the superconnector you meet, and also help the members of their network, ultimately creating a win-win situation for everyone. Smartcut number 6. Create momentum. On February 3, 2013, the Super Bowl was underway at the Superdome in New Orleans, the most watched television event of the year in the U.S. After 2 hours of intense play, the game entered the third quarter. Just then, without warning, the stadium lights went out. During the 34 minutes that players, coaches, fans, and billions of TV viewers waited in the dark, Oreo posted an image on Twitter. In the darkness, a single Oreo cookie glowed, with the caption, "Power out? No problem. You can still dunk in the dark." During the boring wait for the game to resume, the image was retweeted by over 15,000 fans and received 20,000 likes on Facebook. This stroke of genius felt like a free, custom-made ad campaign for Oreo, with an impact that far surpassed the expensive TV commercials aired that night, and it won countless advertising awards. Oreo was able to seize this fleeting opportunity because of long-term preparation. For 6 months leading up to the Super Bowl, they had been running a daily twist creative campaign on social media. More importantly, the Fortune 500 company had established a highly efficient approval process that allowed a tweet to be published within minutes. This is why they could react instantly when the blackout occurred, pushing out their creative idea before the lights came back on and creating a viral sensation. The blackout was the momentum. Seizing that momentum is seizing an opportunity. This requires you to be fully prepared at all times and stay sharp. Success is like a bolt of lightning. It strikes when you least expect it. Your job is to act decisively in that moment and keep the momentum going. Smartcut number 7. Master simplicity. Fresh out of college, Jane Chin joined a non-profit organization dedicated to improving neonatal care in developing countries. She learned that in the U.S., a premature baby weighing only 2 pounds could be nurtured back to health in an incubator. But in impoverished countries like India, millions of premature infants died for lack of such equipment. At the time, an incubator cost between $20,000 and $40,000, not including the cost of electricity. Jane and her colleagues realized that while these countries needed incubators, they could never afford them. They began to wonder, could we make a cheaper box? This box had to be not only low cost but also simple enough for a mother to use on her own. They discovered that the core function of an incubator is to maintain warmth, along with ensuring cleanliness and monitoring vital signs. You don't need $20,000 to achieve that. Following this line of thinking, they developed a product called the Embrace Infant Warmer. It's a dense, insulated sleeping bag with 2 compartments, one for the baby and one for a rechargeable heating pad. After being charged for 30 minutes, the pad provides warmth for 4-6 hours. The design is so intuitive that even mothers with little education can use it easily. The most amazing part? It costs only $25 to produce. Sometimes bigger isn't better. For many appliances, 80% of their complex features go unused. In this project, Jane and her team applied subtractive thinking. Simplification is often the key to moving from good to great. The main characteristic of all disruptive innovations is that they save costs time or money, and simplification is the common driver behind them. Email is simpler and cheaper than traditional mail, a USB drive is simpler and more portable than a CD, and cloud storage eliminates the need to carry anything at all. The world's most extraordinarily successful people are often those who have focused on doing just a few things and perfecting them for decades. The more you focus on, the more your energy is scattered, and the harder it is to reach the pinnacle of your field. To truly soar, we need to learn to simplify and get to the essence of things. The author also mentions 2 other strategies in the book: rapid feedback and 10x thinking. Rapid feedback encourages us to explore the limits of making mistakes, because all great successes are built on countless trials and errors. 10x thinking teaches us that whatever we do, we should aim for a goal that is 10 times bigger. Only an ambitious vision can attract top-tier investment, funding, advisors, and talent, ultimately leading to a grand achievement. Alright, that's our look into the book Smartcuts. Let's recap the 9 strategies for accelerating success. 1. Switching ladders. 2. Find a great mentor. 3. Leverage platforms. 4. Catch the wave. 5. Find superconnectors. 6. Create momentum. 7. Master simplicity. 8. Rapid feedback. 9. 10x thinking. Hopefully, these strategies can help you find your own shortcut to success in this fast-changing world. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.